I think Tonga will come out with a lot of fire in this test match. We've only ever had one official test match before, and we won it by 1 point. I mean, that's how close it was, and it's a one-off game for them, and I think they'll come out real strong. To play against Australia after 7 weeks for some players without a game, and then have another 2-week layoff before the next game was never on. So I asked New Zealand Rugby League to come up with a game against Tonga. They've done that, and we'll be all the better for the hit out when we come against the British.
Words that would haunt Frank Endicott, as you'll see. But for one young Kiwi, Brian Jallick, it was his first start, a dream come true, nerves and goals laid out.
Personally, yeah, just to play well, and for my personal game, just to see what it's like out there. Yeah, everything's a first for me, so it's just all new experience for me.
And what an experience it would be for the young Kiwi, as both sides laid down their challenges.
Absolutely top condition, the ground for this match as we get things underway. The Kiwis, true Hermanship. The crowd says it. They're plenty primed up for this action tonight. Joe Vangana. And the first penalty of the evening. Very quick in coming from Andy Cook. Not such a good cook there from Henry Paul.
You got the mark.
Now Swain.
He's out of the left him. Come on.
And the Tongans accepting the challenge very early in the match, getting up there hungry on defence. Something that's certainly got to get carried in for 80 minutes.
Probably plenty of attention from the Tongan tacklers early on. A couple of metres inside, halfway. As Swain is an effective break, ranging 5 or 7 metres. Henry Paul holds up the pass, waits it nicely for Logan Swan. Ducked underneath the dangerous-looking tackle from Paulio. Dangerous for Tonga. Already they're in trouble. And here comes Brian Jallick on debut. His first try in the black and white strip.
And what a great way to start your season with the Kiwis. And perhaps a long career, Brian Jallick. The Kiwis making good roads up the middle. Started with Richard Swain at the centre of the ruck. They just push it wide. Brian Jallick just being able to get on the outside there of Lomu. First try on debut.
Yeah, I think the Tongans have had trouble just trying to get at marker, make sure they don't stop the dummy half from running. That's allowed the Kiwis all the latitude. Quick hands out to Brian Jallick, able to get round his opposite, to Vito Poleo. And it has been just an amazing start from this Kiwi side, showing all the indications they want to spread this ball.
And then the moment that had the Kiwis and the Warriors holding their breath. Stacey Jones' left arm sandwiched in a tackle, breaking 2 bones and putting him out of the game well into the NRL season. The little playmaker gone, but the Kiwi steamroller unstoppable.
Well, Murray.
Up the middle, now Ruben Wickings played most of his football this year in the forwards. As an international, though, we've been using him as a centre, and that's what Frank has opted to do this time around. The inside ball, quick hands, 2 from Swan. This should be a 4-pointer. The tackle might be called high and will be. And Richard Swain came under a high tackle there from Paul Colloy. Paul Colloy, the Brothers Club up in Mackay. Lowry will play the ball 5 metres to the right-hand side of the post. Big chance for the Kiwis. Right underneath the posts now. As it's spun across there to Kearney. Ball's gone to ground. And the referee will call them back. For a moment there, I thought we were looking at a runaway.
One thing that we must point out about this Tongan football side, extremely young, Dwayne. There's a lot of young talent and a great opportunity, I think, as they look towards maybe the World Cup next year.
Well, Murray Hurst, the coach of the Matimā Tonga, he's had these boys up on the Oceania tour, and he's decided to repay them. They have performed to great credit, and they are a young side. And, you know, there's a bunch of NRL players with a lot of quality. Just look out wide again. Brian Jallick going round for number 2.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to say it's all too easy, but Brian Jallick, a great start to his Kiwi career, finding himself on the outside of Tavita Poleo. They just shifted wide, the Kiwis. Henry Paul just given far too much space, maybe a hint of a shepherd there, but then finds good support, and Brian Jallick just steps inside Poleo.
Well, I once saw Henry Paul do a drop goal, regather and run the other end of the field and score a try. He is full of guile and unpredictability, and if you don't keep your eyes on him, he will do just that. Brian Jallick in for number 2 on debut. Finishing is his role, and he does it well. 2 tries in 14 minutes. Brian Jallick back in his hometown. Henry Paul, can he do as well with the boot as he can with the sleight of hand? Just like the PlayStation, says Henry. It's great to see young guys coming through our club competition, our local domestic competition, and attaining that jersey. It's always their goal.
Well, it's great when he left New Zealand, went to England, didn't like it, came back, found himself up in North Queensland, and now beyond to perhaps what he imagined possible in '99, he finds himself in a Kiwi shirt. He's had a big year, Brian Jallick.
Howlett starts us off again. The Rock. The Rock. He's played great football. If he wanted to stamp his mark tonight too, put pressure on. A bit more enthusiasm in their defence at the moment, Tonga, but then again there had to be, as the Kiwis look to work it wide where they have been enjoying success. Barnett has wrapped up 5 short of halfway now. Keen to get on with it. Logan Swan. Philly-Eyes tackled well. Smallest man doing perhaps the most work as the ball comes from Kidwell. A little flat-footed. Unimpressive as far as the attack is concerned on that time. Across now it comes for Henry Paul. And it's out on the full. A rare mistake from Henry, but he's a player where some things come off, some things don't.
And just a word on Stacey Jones. Bad news. Looks like Stacey has a problem with his elbow. Could be a broken arm. He won't be back anyway tonight, and he'll be going up for x-rays at the hospital.
Thanks, Dwayne, and that is very disappointing for the New Zealand League fans, and indeed for Frank Endicott. There was talk prior to the game of that very serious risk, I guess, of losing important players. Well, they don't come much more important than young Stace, so it's a real blow to the New Zealand hopes of cleaning out the Aussies and the Great Britain team. Here comes Logan Swan.
Particularly when you reflect back 7 days ago when New Zealand against Australia, the effort by young Stacey in the first 40 minutes, outstanding.
40 of his best, without doubt, as the Kiwis now mount an attack through Barnett. Off the mark, very quick, he pumps the pass. Should really have been picked up wide. Now it's Tonga. Cut down on the far side of the field is Ketuni Faletti. Plays the ball now. Tonga. They need to get together and put some gas on, and they do up the middle. Strong running from their captain. Baikuna plays the ball, second tackle, 2 meters out from the try line. Having a shot for the line. The Kiwis have seen that before though. Faletti plays it for Esau Man. Man across the Philly-Eye. Back on the inside. Here comes the big man. That's Andrew Lomu. And the referee will penalise them. Impetuosity of youth, perhaps, as it comes back for Lee Hansen. That's the workload ahead of them to pick up their first try of the evening. Afongia to play the ball 8 meters out from the line. Esau Man holds up the ball.
And if the will of the crowd can carry them over the line, they would have scored 3 times by now. Some great pace on the flanks by Tonga as they look to shift it wide again.
Baikuna, over the top he goes to Poleo. Poleo tries to step on the inside. The defence is sound. 12 out from the line now. Tonga, Philly-Eye now. Shows it, tries to duck under the tackle. The defence was good. Fifth and final. He saw a man. And a shocking kick. It's gone backwards. Still, may they be able to create something from it. Still Tonga. Philly Gulu here. Cut down the big tackle. David Kidwell. Quick tap taken. Jellick tries to sneak a few metres. Up on the inside comes Stephen Kearney. Flung to ground. The tackler again. Witnesses Lee Hansen. Been around a long time, Lee Hansen. He's only 29, but was in the 1988 Pacific Cup. Henry Paul. Over he comes now for Brian Jellick.
And one of 3 Tongan players that still remain from the 95 World Cup side. He's been a great campaigner for Tonga.
Well, there's the official New Zealand Rugby League website. If you want information, tickets, or the drum, that's the code to get access to them. Stephen Kearney plays on to the whistle, as he should.
Dwayne, how tough is it to play against a side that very much held a skelter, maybe not a lot of structure, sometimes can prove to be a real test?
Yeah, I think so, but I know that the Kiwi brand of football, you know, it's pretty much what they want to do. I've been impressed by the way that they've taken some structure out of their play, which allows them to just move forward and allows them to run in numbers. So I think they're probably, you know, more equipped to combat this style of play from the Tongans than most sides. I have been impressed, though, with the Tongans. They're able to just throw the ball around, almost get it out. Only some last desperate defence, a great covering tackle from Ruben Wiki, is able to shut down, you know, a roving Tongan side.
And it's interesting going into this match now that you pick up an injury to a key player, particularly a half, having 3 forwards on the bench. We see Richard Swain actually going into halfback.
Tonga. Hansen into the rock. Hermanson. They meet on the 40 metres. Kiwi end of the field. The replacement here, Safunga. A resolute Kiwi defence hold him up. 38 metres out from the Kiwi line. What might be in Tonga's bag of tricks? Well, that's something that they would rather leave at home. Just a slight knock on. And when they're in a good position to mount an attack, just drop the ball.
He was dropping it to play it.
Stay up, guys, stay up. Hold it up, hold it, mate. Hold it up. Let's get it set.
Swain feeds the scrum. Wainakula's there as a decoy. This is Barnett. Can't get around Waikuna. Kidwell. Big power from centre.
It's interesting he hasn't brought Nigel Vagano on and perhaps moved Henry Paul into half and just reshuffle his back line.
Penrith's Tony Pulatua makes some good inroads. A little dummy from Kalis. And eventually wrapped up by Greg Wolfgram. Played some football for Marister in Auckland as Wainakula once again makes his intentions known. Up to play the ball now, 20 metres out from the line. Not getting off the tackle player quick enough. Andy Cook awards another penalty. Hasn't had to blow his whistle too many times.
And a big night for the referees, Andy Cook, this evening, as we see the indiscretion there by Tonga, resulting in a penalty to the Kiwis. Big night for Andy Cook, and also later on tonight, Great Britain-Australian match, local referee Dave Paquito gets his first test.
It's great for Kiwi referees. And what an appointment for Dave Paquito, one of the top referees in the Auckland comp, as they turn it up the inside for Joe Vagana. 1 metre out from the line, stealing the football and might even get 10 minutes.
Skipper!
Wants to talk to the skipper. So Andy Cook will call out to Skipper. Waikuna. This niggly little stuff starting to upset the referee.
I want a good clear play of the ball, all right? You guys are infringing around the play of the ball all the time. If it carries on, you'll be in the bin, okay? I'm warning you now. All right, I've warned them, all right? I've warned them, yes, I've told them.
It's clear area in the play of the ball, and that is fair enough. We can see an open running game. That's a close down tackle on Henry Paul.
Behind me. Good work.
12 out from the line. Swain, inside, Swan. back on one of the tacklers, as is Hansen. The Kiwis pop it back now for Puletua, looking for the spin. 3 metres from the line now. The Kiwis up 14-0, looking for try number 4. Long ball wide. Henry Paul. Don't hold off him. Back it comes. 17 is Willie Talo, the former Taranaki centre, now with Canterbury Bankstown. And across it comes. I think the Tongan team might be running out of gas, and the Kiwi boys looking a bit keen. Ducking and diving, they're letting the ball go. It's hot potato stuff. Losing ground at the moment, but Joe might make it up in a second or two. Logan Swan will stroll for Brian Jalek's third. Yes, it's his hat-trick on debut, and Jalek picks up 3 of the first 4 tries.
A great display of ball skills and handling there by the Kiwi side. I was beginning to wonder whether or not they were losing the plot and going sideways, but they straightened it up. They found their way to the goal line. And it's again a good example of good support play there by Brian Jalek. And here, a magnificent effort. 3 on debut. Here they go, they just shift it wide, toying with the Tongan defence, who perhaps guilty of not getting straight up, stopping the ball, not allowing the Kiwis to stand and offload. And it always becomes extremely difficult when you allow a football side to choose at will when they're going to pass, when they're going to offload. Jalek, hat-trick.
Yeah, for mine, it's the subtle differences, isn't it, between, you look at this Kiwi side with the ball in hand, just their agility. They're able to get away, escape their defender, able to keep the ball alive, a lot of depth about them, making sure that they do support the player, carrying the ball out in front with 2 hands. Logan Swan, he's just having a field day out there, and Brian Jalek, what a debut for this guy.
And that was the key to that play, I think, was Logan Swan just straightening up that attack, taking it forward, and finding Jalek.
Henry Paul looking to add the extras. A bit of credit to Tonga. They did hold the Kiwis out for 12 minutes. You're talking about a star-studded international lineup as Henry Paul shows he can slot them from the sideline as well. There's the try scorer, Brian Jalek. Once again, if you have a look, it's from broken play. They're keeping the ball alive, so we won't give them too many points for structured, well-coordinated and organised attack, but certainly making the best of the situation. And Brian Jalek doing the absolute best.
But there's just outstanding athleticism in this Kiwi pack. Yeah, the forwards from prop right to back rower, they can do anything. They can dance.
Here he is, Lowry. And what a wonderful photograph it made in the national papers.
And that's a mammoth stat. 2 to 1.
Well, look at that. No wonder these Tongan players are tired. But they've got no time to relax as Joe forces his way up the middle, pumps the nice pass to Wiki. Wiki looks, wisely goes to ground. He thought for a moment he could go to Puletua. This is dangerous. Tonga on the ropes. Tonga on the rack. Not another one for Jalek, is it? Very close. Don't dilly-dally in the end goal.
What I enjoyed about the Kiwi performance last week was just the amount of confidence, I think, in their own ability to offload as Jalek. Ooh. That confidence to offload, the confidence in knowing that their support players were there. I don't know what the talk's like down on the park there, Dwayne, but up here, they're in a good mood.
Well, they are. I think it's a case of pretty much last week up against the Australians. They got away to a great start. And, you know, in a way, I feel sorry for the Tongans because I know that the Kiwis won't make the same mistake again and let this Tongan side score before the half-time break. They want to make sure, I know Frank's talking to his trainers, wants to make sure that his bench players are geared up. They go out there, concentrate, and make sure that they you know, really make this Tongan side work every inch they can.
And I think what's fast becoming the challenge for this Kiwi side is keeping that 0 on the Tongans' try line.
They've certainly got some wheels. They'll need to use a bit of that Polynesian flair, I think, Dwayne, and get that ball singing across the park.
Yeah, well, they will do it. You know, just making all these tackles, the small things, having kicks charged down, not winning their scrum ball cleanly. I know the Kiwis, they're making, you know, all the professional things count, screwing the scrum, trying all the tricks in the book, and it certainly makes it difficult for this Tongan side, you know, just to get the momentum going and make sure that they can, you know, get just the right start they need to complete their sets of 6.
Down 20 with 8 on the clock to half-time. Carlo Park in magnificent condition as the Tongan team mount another attack. Strong running, but also strong defence. The runner is Hansen.
Well, that's got to be a penalty. Kiwis laying all in the completely in the way.
Wolf ram now.
Oh, we talked about 2-1 on the tackles. Possession. It's a hard night for the Tongan side.
It is, so perhaps that scoreline is not as bad as it first reads. Richie Barnett has been putting soap on his jersey. No one seems to be able to get hold of him tonight. There's the missed tackle stat. Say no more. Lowry.
Well, it's understandable, I think, when you're 2-1, when you're doing 100 tackles, 11's probably not that bad to miss.
By calling Esau Man, wrap up Henry Paul, the danger man for the black and whites. 32 metres out from the Tongan line.
That's the trouble with you accountants, Rope Hardy.
Hang on a minute.
Counting them all up. And slapping GST on it.
I was going to go easy on it.
Here's a chance. Tongan ball. Well, it looked pretty clean from up here, but the word's been given from the touch judge that there was a knock-on. That looks okay there.
Oh. It's a tough call. The crowd certainly don't appreciate it.
Let's get it down, get it down.
The Kiwis. The fend from David Kidwell, trying to shrug off his opposite, Phil Howlett. Henry Paul, Logan Swan. It's the ball jarred loose. Staying alive, Henry Paul. A knock on, could be questioned, but we won't.
If you judge by the crowd's reaction, it's mixed tonight. You get just as many boos and the previous indiscretion for against Tonga as we've just got there against New Zealand.
Let's get it set, guys. Get it out, get it.
Tongan supporters, very patriotic, come out and support their whatever code it might be. And it really is a celebration here at Carlo Park tonight, in the biggest Polynesian city in the world.
And isn't this an interesting stat? Both hookers, both sides now playing at halfback. Esau Man now moving to halfback for Tonga. Maybe to get one over Richard Swain.
Now that's a strong run. Hoping to encourage his forwards to put a little bit more into their running. Props and steps off his right foot, thus deteriorating the impact factor. Lee Hansen. Now they come wide. Is there a way through? Nice little offload back on the inside for Esau Man. Flung to ground by Logan Swan. 30 metres out. The kick was a last-minute thought, I think, from Koloi. Richie Barnett offloads. This is Vainakolo. Shrugs them away. Keen to go on with it, the Volcano. Up the middle, where the Kiwi forwards are most potent. Lowry. Waits it nicely, gets it wide for Kidwell. Henry Paul holds it tauntingly as he gets it on the inside now for Jellick. He's wrapped up 45 out from the Tongan line. Swain. The cutout ball. Looking to create problems, which is what it's done. This one's gone to ground as well, not flash at all. Vainakolo does well to keep it alive. Kearney. From Paraparaumu, if you're listening or watching down there in Paraparaumu, a very big good evening to you as Henry Paul finds a hole for Jellick. Is he going to take it home? He will. Take it home. Slap it on your mantelpiece. 4 on debut.
Oh, what a night for Brian Jellick. What a night. And some great lead up there by Jason Lowry. Kiwis again taking it to the line, and this is one thing I think the Tongans have been guilty of. Good offload there by Jason. And good skills. But the one thing I think Tonga has got to be guilty of is maybe just giving Kiwis just far too much room. Planting their feet on D, allowing them to come to them, putting them in two minds.
Yeah, they really are having trouble with the pace of this game. I think Frank Endicott, you know, he's doing a good job with the rotation of his bench. with the likes of Stephen Kearney, Jason Lowry, but the two guys I've been impressed with, Nathan Kiwis, Tony Pulatua, making every bit count. But look at Brian Jallick also on his debut, and you know, anything that's available, he's going to keep around, popping his head up, sniffing for tries. He is a genuine try scorer from the Glenora club. He ended his way up in North Queensland. There's a prolific try scorer.
Did I detect a sense of pride when you mentioned that Glenora name then?
Always.
Could we see the try-scoring record in the Test be broken tonight?
Well, that's a point. It's currently 6, I think, held by
6 or 7, I think, against Papua New Guinea.
Well, we could well do that because Dwayne, they're sending all of the action down Jallick's wing. The Tongan defence left wing problems.
Yeah, I think they are defensively having you know, more problems on the Tongans' left-hand side. Even though Leslie Vainikolo said earlier that his involvement, you know, there's been nothing wrong with that, able to take some barnstorming runs, but you know, it's just the way these Kiwis are able to stay on their feet, back up, keep the ball alive.
You're watching the action from Carlo Park on Sky as Hermanson takes it forward from the kickoff.
And it becomes very hard for your wingman when you've got so much happening in the centre of the field where the Kiwis are making good progress. We saw Jason Lowry take it in the centre. Once you're making yards up the middle, it gets a bit thin out wide.
Might have to lace up those boots over there, Dwayne.
I said Carlo Park's looking in good nick, not me.
Richie Barnett, one of the most likeable sportsmen in the country. Former New Zealand touch representative and relishing his opportunity as the captain of the Kiwi League team. Kiwis onto Henry Paul. Little stab kick through. For a moment, I thought it was going to come up in the Kiwi hand. Here's David Vaikona. How fast is he? How fast is he?
How fast is Leslie Vainikolo?
Great run by Vaikona. Kiwi slow to get back. Best chance ever for the Tongan team. And their hands let them down. So some good work done by their skipper. Again, the crowd letting Andy Cook know that they're not overly happy with some of his decisions.
Great effort here by the 5'8" Vaikona. Takes it down, but look at Leslie. The two volcanoes having a go. Beautiful stuff. Yeah,
Tavita Vaikona is an exceptional player. Of course, with the Bradford club, normally is on the wing, and you know, you can just see his pace there. It just is a real good battle between him and Leslie Vainikolo.
Back to the action, about 28 metres out from the line. And a tight head. They don't come up much, but they're good to watch. Phil Hallett with the ball, upended. Now Tonga from 40 metres out. One out running from dummy half. Won't pick up the points that they need. Hansen runs his decoy. Looking for a hole up the middle. There's the 40-minute hooter. And at half-time, an impressive display from the Kiwis. And they go to the break with a substantial 26-0 lead over Tonga. At 26-0, they might be able to keep it in check. But if the Kiwis accelerate and start throwing the ball around even more than they did in the first 40, well, anything could happen. As Katoni Faletti makes his way out.
And Tongan coach Murray Hurst, he would have taken the opportunity just to reflect, I think, on that first 40 and focus on getting the ball, holding onto the ball and playing with the football. For the Kiwi side, Frank Endicott, albeit 26-0, I think a lot of that halftime break would have been about getting rid of the little things or correcting the little things that are letting them down. Willie Talau has been strong defensively. Kiwis has had a good first 40, along with this player Henry Paul, who's provided so much.
Steve Kearney, he's got his ring, his NRL ring. He's a happy man. And Leslie Vainikolo has had a barnstorming 40. So Andy Cook looks to ensure that all is in readiness for the restart. 40 minutes of action coming your way on Sky as the Kiwis line up against Tonga. What a tackle. Welcome back. Greg Wolfsquare. He's been playing in the Tongan team for 5 years now.
Coming into tonight's match, it was always a hard one for the Kiwis side where everybody expects them to win. And I think now, with 40 minutes under their belt, a lot of their focus is about what lies ahead, take care of detail, and just get about the next 40.
So I assume you've got into the ear of one of your cousins and found out what sort of game plan they're going to adopt in this next 40, Dwayne?
Yeah, I think just getting the word back from the Tongan dressing room. They just pretty much want to get some ball, you know, and have a decent crack at this Kiwi side. They think if they can just slow down that play the ball area, make sure they don't give away what ball they do have, like was highlighted in the first half. You know, they just want to make sure they can put themselves in control, do themselves proud, and if they can come up with a score, well, they'll be happy. For the Kiwis, Frank Endicott just said that he'd like to make sure his side complete their sets of 6, not to drop off, not to make the unforced errors.
The Kiwis playing confidently, letting the ball do the work. Henry Paul across field, sizes up his options, turns it back on the inside for Kiwis. Kiwis now gets it on to Talau, and Willie is eventually wrapped up there by Alphonse Marcella. A 21-year-old plays for St George Illawarra. As Kearney shapes up, senses danger, and decides that he will consolidate, just take the tackle, but it's either stripped or lost. Referee says play on, and that's unusual in this day and age. Henry Paul again. Little bits of magic all the time. You never know where he's going to flick the ball from or what is next in his bag of tricks as the little grubber kick comes off the boot of Swain into the end goal. Coming up with his Skitoni Faletti, and he gets into the field of play, but only just.
Good chase by the Kiwi side there. We saw a couple of passages of play just going sideways, but they finish that off with a good chase.
This is Filimoni Lolo here, and he's running with South Sydney at the moment. A deft little kick, set up okay, and Tonga were lucky to get back into the field of play as the Kiwi swarm descended. Far side, into touch. Inexperience, can tell, and Tevita Poleo.
It makes for a hard night out when, you know, here we are talking about holding on to possession and trying to make the most of that football so you can at least compete, and then finding that sideline. It's not what you're asking for young Tevita Poleo, but he's had his moments this evening. Unfortunately, not all of them perhaps pleasant memories with the sight of Brian Jallick coming down.
Just back up, Kiwis, a little bit. Let's go.
Tongan taking it seriously with the King of Tonga's son is here tonight, supporting his squad as Barnett gets up to play the ball now. 35 metres out from the line. Kearney, little flat-footed. He's wrapped up by the number 8. He's had a reasonable game. He's from Sydney City. He's 20 years of age. Nelson Lomi. Logan Swan is ridden to ground by Andrew Lomu. And now a chance for the Kiwis. 20 metres out. Swain holds up the pass nicely for the rock, but he juggles it. Kaloi comes up with it.
It's very noticeable that the Kiwi side have lost some of that go forward, I think, with Stacey Jones' injury. Someone with the ability to take it to the line, put the defence in two mind, pose questions, and come up with a bag of tricks.
In saying that, I guess we should pay a few credits to young Richard Swain, trying into the halfback's role. As this kick from Tonga, with a bit more of a chance, the bounce will be important. And the bounce goes Barnett's way. Hole up the middle, kick and chase. Barnett on the chase, coming at him. And Tonga come up with the prize there. Andrew Lomu was first back. And broken play, Barnett very dangerous.
Good effort there by Paul Kaloi to get back, but great pace also shown alongside Richie Barnett. Richard Swain matching him toe for toe. Hookers are fast, aren't they?
They're quick. Here's Tonga. The crowd noticeably lift whenever the red and whites get a chance. This time, Marcella. Wrapped up 5 meters inside the Kiwi half. Back to Masima. He saw a man with the cutout ball. And the tackle. Strong.
Richie Barnett down in background.
Well, Richie cramped up noticeably in the test match a week ago. He says it's something he's sort of learnt to live with. It's reasonably common as the little halfback pops the ball. Filiai. Tonga.
Let's go.
Looking to do something, couldn't do it quick enough.
It's what you got to enjoy about island football. It's perhaps not for the purists, but the little things that they come up with, the unexpected, the unorthodox. They just play the game with so much passion and emotion, and albeit that it's not going to win a test match, I think, of this colour against a side like New Zealand, as Richard Swain again proves a handful at the centre.
Referee Andy Cook will call him back for a shepherd, accidental shepherd, and the penalty going Tonga's way.
Yeah, going back to what you're saying, Peter, I think you're right that, you know, it is about you know, the Tongans and the islands people, the Polynesian people, just having that natural flair and something special when they play their sport. And I think this Tongan side, it's about keeping their heads up. Richard Swain just getting a slight shepherd from one of his teammates as he goes through a gap, and he is busy around that 5'8" roll. And of course, it is going to be a huge blow next week, facing you know, the great British side without Stacey Jones.
Hopefully not too much cause for concern as far as Richard's injury is concerned, so we'll check on that in a few moments, make sure that he's all right. That ball's been stripped.
I could just hear everybody talking about perhaps what attracted so much attention coming into tonight's match, playing a game such as this against Tonga, picking up injuries. As Nigel comes on for Richie Barnett. But, you know, it's football. You pick up injuries, and, you know, one thing you can't go away from, we said at the top of tonight's call, that there's no substitute for game time, and they've got to do it.
Well, I know the bloke who'll be upset, you know, probably the most, besides Stacey, would be his coach, Mark Graham, and the Warriors would want to make sure he makes a quick recovery.
He's been fairly lucky in the injury stakes during his career, Stacey Jones. Let's hope that the injury isn't a major one. But at this stage, indications are that it's a little more serious than we would hope. Steve Kearney now, as he gets the Kiwis set in field position to collect some points. Jalek's got 4 tries already. Ball's gone to ground, off the feet. Referee says play on. There's a run for the corner. Now, how fast is he? How black and white is the defence? Oh, he gives him one of the old ravishing Rick Rude backslams.
It was a great run there by Howlett, but I think when he got it, when it came up on the radar screen that you had Leslie Vainikolo coming out, you had Brian Jalek coming from his offside, and Nigel Wagner doing the sweep. Where am I going?
I know Phil Howlett, his brother Doug, of course, playing with the Auckland side in their big grand final. Tomorrow night he'll be saying, look, I would have made that, brother.
And Doug would have. Now it's with Tonga. I think they might just give the ball some air and have a bit of fun with it. They might as well. They run around like a spinning top. Well, that's what happens. Control the football, run in circles, you'll get yourself dizzy and drop it. Pulatua plays the ball just short of halfway. Swain. Oh, look. His eyes light up like a poker machine, and he says, yeah, here's the money. Grabs it. 10, 15 metres. Easy. Joe. Joe.
You think the poker machine will be that happy to lose its money?
Paul. Kearney. Here it is. Well, I thought he was through there. Willie Talo set himself nicely. Danger time for Tonga. Still, they've maintained their defence. And a dummy half by Nicolo. By Nicolo. Knew he had the strength. Grabbed the ball. Took it home.
Well, it was only a matter of time. The Kiwis were going to find their way over that try line. And this time with a bit of power. Gets down low by Nicolo. This time using his physical strength as opposed to his speed. And he's given us some great moments tonight in full flight. But it was only a matter of time against Tonga.
Well, the end result looks easy, but some great lead-up work to that. Just running onto the ball by Nicolo. Young Leslie only just a newcomer to the game, really starting to find his feet back with the Canberra Raiders at the tail end of this year. And there really is something special for the New Zealand Rugby League. But as I said, the lead-up work to that try, just the Kiwis able to make sure that they were running onto the ball, typified by the big run by Joe Vagana. Henry Paul lines up for what should be a difficult attempt for him, has been kicking well tonight.
Swinging it around nicely. Nice kick. Worrying limp for Leslie by Nicolo. He has played brilliantly tonight. Now this is Howlett. Phil Howlett. Would Doug have made it? That's the question.
But at this time here, Phil sees Brian Jalek. Then he sees Leslie. And he gets absolutely monstered. But good counter-attack there by the Tongan side, who have provided us with some great moments this evening. They got speed on the flank. Players with good ball skills, not afraid to push it around.
Restart at 32-0. The familiar chug of a train on the background. And the familiar chug of a steam locomotive in Lowry. It's a good run from Ruben Wiki. Kalis. So sets in possession, and Frank won't be impressed with the Kiwi completion rate. As you can see, completed sets. They should have held onto the ball.
Well, 14 of 23, it's certainly not a good number. But I'm still trying to figure out here what position some of these players are playing. I'm not sure who's gone back to fullback. Dwayne, help me.
Looking a bit dangerous. Jalek. Just haven't really been able to turn a trick, and the few times that they have broken the line, Tonga have let themselves down with bad handling.
But I think when you play that high-risk game, it's going to be the way that it flows.
Now, well, we've got a bit of a break. I can tell you that the game of rugby league is popular in Tonga. For a small country, they've got plenty of football clubs. Henry Paul to Richard Swain. Referee will pull it back for a high shot, and Paul Kaloi is the man charged. You might notice again how Henry Paul holds the ball up just fractionally to try and create an opportunity.
No, it's a forward pass.
It was a mile forward. And Nigel Vagana, he's gone back to fullback. Richie Barnett, he's come back on the sideline for a well-deserved break.
There's a penalty to the Kiwis. You can't just fall on the scrum and fall on the ball, and when the scrum's been screwed, that's what they were hoping to do. As Kearney says, let's get on with it quickly. Henry Paul says, I'll get on with it quicker than quickly. Is that a Henry try? Andy Cook calls it home.
And put that down to just reacting a little bit quicker than the Tongan side, waiting for the Kiwis to make up their mind. They knew where they were going. Stephen Kearney grabbed it, shifted it wide, and found a willing player in Henry Paul, who found his way across the line.
Yeah, strong scrum from the Kiwis, just able to just push. Messy ball, they've been trying to play that one all night. The quick penalty, just lacking numbers out to their left-hand side are the Tongans. Henry Paul, this is something special on his own, just that great right foot step. He can step off either foot. Also a lot of strength, able to find the try line. Not a problem for young Henry Paul.
And we heard Robbie mention his right foot, the ability to step off his right foot, and perhaps the better, as he said, Dwayne, he can do it off both. But good skills, good footballer.
Yeah, not like you, Peter. You were blessed with 2 left feet.
Oh, no. I used to do somersaults, back, twirls. I could do it. But then I'd wake up.
Simon Smith's dancing bear had better flash of feet than you, Ropo. Henry Paul adds the extras. And what an addition to the Kiwi squad this man has been. The versatility, the sheer brilliance and class has given Frank Endicott extra options to use him at standoff, use him at loose forward, throw him into hooker.
And an indication of how this game is starting to loosen up. 2 tries in 3 minutes, and all those by backs.
Yeah, for mine, you talk about the Paul brothers, and you know what they are to me is they talk of something special about wearing this Kiwi jersey. And you know, for blokes just still young in the game, and of course playing all of their football up in the UK, you know, they're just something special, the way they treat their approach to football and their whole professional manner off and on the paddock.
And they didn't play for Glenora. Glenora, of course, Dwayne's club, the Fox champions here in the Auckland competition. And the penalty going the Kiwis' way.
And when you talk about the Paul brothers, what I like, I think, about this Kiwi football side of this year, there's one thing that they all fall quite definitely under the umbrella of, and that's an attitude. They've all got one, and it's a good attitude. Full of confidence.
Not arrogant, though.
No.
Pleasant blokes, and you know that's important for footballers. You've got to keep your feet on the ground. As Kiwis gets up. Nathan Kiwis, the grandson of Sonny Wadu. Many of our viewers in Taranaki will remember him. A pretty famous bloke from down there, white-haired gentleman, as they cut up the middle of the park. That's Kiwis delivering the ball now onto Paul. Paul gets it onto Kidwell. Tonga immediately back in the hot seat as Logan Swan goes for the line. He comes up 6 inches short. It's, well, a pass not from the copybook, that's a rock. And that's the Sonic. Well, I used to call him Sonic. Nigel Baganar.
And again, a great display of skills, confidence, knowing that the player outside him is in a position to receive a ball, has the ability to catch the ball. It all started a little sloppy, but the way they reacted and responded to it, well done. Nigel Baganar just feeding off it, running a good line, getting a bit of depth. Nice try.
Yeah, without nitpicking, I mean, you can see that the urgency around 2 or 3 wide from the play of the ball, everyone comes up, but it's that man there, Sione Masima, failed to come up, close the gap. Nigel Baganar too clever to ignore, and able to go across for a simple try for him. Henry Paul to convert from out in front.
Nigel Baganar, a successful season, top try scorer in the Euro League. That was during the Super League days before he rejoined the Auckland Warriors. And on the end of some good work from Terry Hermanson.
And with the Kiwis bringing up 44 points for 0 against Tonga. It's interesting, we look at the record books, and the biggest differential scored by the Kiwis was back in 92 against Papua New Guinea, 56. And it was back in 83, Hugh McGann scored 6 tries, also at this park against Papua New Guinea.
Clever work to restart from the Tongan team through the boot of Phil Howlett. But again, their hands let them down. Here's the restart. Look out, Speedy Gonzalez.
And you admire that they're still having a go. And that's the way it should be, and that's what the game's about.
Well, Pete, you know, it was acknowledged that it was an opportunity. Look at these line breaks, just hammering them, running through at will. That it was necessary for the Tongan team to have some international competition. I mean, it's a bit...
well, you can't ignore the lesser weights of the game. Yeah, here's an island nation that's only had rugby league in the last decade. They've now had the opportunity to play New Zealand twice. They performed with huge credence back in 95 to just lose 25-24. And when you recognise the number of players that are not here tonight, that are still available maybe to front up for Tonga next year in the World Cup, and you talk about the people such as Jimmy Dimmock, Solomon Holmono, and even Dwayne Mann's rumoured to make a return. Yeah, so they will be a force, and I think even 44 zip at the moment, there's been some moments for Tonga.
I think you're absolutely right, Peter, and you know, with Murray Hurst, he's been up to Tonga, trying to put on some coaching programs for the local Tongans. As you mentioned earlier, they love their rugby league up there. 100,000 people, dotted across tiny islands. and you know, just have a great local competition. If they can get hold of all the our players, the players playing up in the UK, they can put a competitive side out there. With the work of Mike McLennan as a coach also, you know, you've got him and Murray Hurst who can do a fabulous job in preparing the side for the World Cup next year.
I think they'll be a much stronger side in 1 year's time. We saw some great hands a little while back there from Willie Tallow. Now the Kiwis again on a raid. Puletua slips the ball out late. Gets it back to Nigel Vangana, weaving and darting towards the line. He goes, he might have got there. Let's have a look at Andy Cook. Well, that was fine work from Nigel Vangana. He really shouldn't have been able to put that try on, but I guess that's an indication of the tiredness that the Tongan team are feeling.
Well, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that he dropped that, but let's have another look.
Okay, Dwayne.
Yeah, just good lead-up work again. Kevin Puletua able to just get in there. But look at the spin turn. Nigel Vagana steps away, and you know, has great leg drive. 3 in the tackle. Not the best angle from that one. Peter, how'd you see it?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to just sit on the fence here and just watch this one in, because he just dances so well, Nigel, here. The ability to turn, spin, make himself an absolute menace with the ball in hand, and that's a try.
Good work. Good work from Nigel Vangana. Tenacity got him there. He wasn't going to give up. Spinning, difficult to grasp.
He got it. And we're on track for that 56 differential as well. We could see a record here tonight at Carlo Park. And Nigel, 2 tries in 3 minutes. He's also responded in the latter half of 99 for the Auckland Warriors. Finished the season well.
He enjoys his football. The Richmond club. He's a youngster. Right, let's go as Swain gives it to Hermanson. He's a very effective prop in any competition, and if you want a guy to just take it forward strong, Terry Hermanson, fine footballer. Joe offloads to keep it alive. Tallow. Now it comes wide. Vainakolo. Well, they don't like tackling him. Don't like tackling Puletua either. Keeps the ball alive. Back to Vainakolo.
Guys, this is wicked stuff. This is outstanding football by 2 athletic footballers, I think, in Puletua and Vainakolo, just taking it forward, offloading it well, and good support play.
There's Swain with a popped-up ball. Comes down to a young man I've got to take my hat off to, who hasn't given up. He's tried all night, and that's Filiai from the Fatuma Hurricanes. And one of the smallest, and one of the gutsiest, without doubt. Chief Lefakavamoinga.
And when we talk about developing the game of rugby league in Tonga, it's pleasing to see so many resident Tongan players actually participating in this game of football tonight.
Oh, it is. You've got a good spread of Tongan players, you know, from the Fatumu club, from the Hahataio club, and, you know, the Lapaha Knights, all up in Tonga, and a great run. Sione Masima almost eluding the Kiwi tacklers, and just, you know, absolutely fantastic for the local Tongan League people to get a chance out here against the Kiwis.
Koloi! And the referee pulls them back for the high tackle.
That's right, keep him down, maybe.
That's David Kidwell. Spur of the moment reaction.
And foremost in your mind, with just over 15 minutes remaining, is try to keep your line intact, keep Tonga out, keep them to zip. That's the challenge, I think, for the Kiwi side here at the moment.
You got somebody on?
So there's the website where you can order tickets for the forthcoming test matches. Find out all the information about the New Zealand Rugby League.
It's also a good site in that it links to any number of rugby league sites all around the world, so have a look at it. Go surfing.
That's the man who's the skipper, Waikuno. The winger who's caught on that high shot has gone off the field. A little dark on the situation, just a penalty. That's Lee Hansen. He loses the ball. Andy Cook plays it on. Back now for the big blonde Nelson Lomi.
Two in the tackle.
Well, that's a bit of a harsh call.
Hit the line, guys, hit the line.
So they've come this close a few times during the game. They haven't been able to get over the line. They've dropped the ball when they've had opportunities. So hopefully they will keep more control of the lever. Perhaps for the thousands of Tongan fans who are here tonight at Carlo Park in Auckland, a try would be fitting.
And I think the next 2-3 minutes will tell more about this football side, the Kiwis that is, as to how well they've played here tonight.
Stepping, trying to find a way up the middle. He looks like the man most likely, Lee Hansen. Back it comes, he saw man onto the skipper, Paifuna. He's wrapped up two to the left-hand side of the posts. Scoreboard end of Carlo Park. A kick, but with not a lot of thinking, I don't think. Didn't telegraph to his players. No one was really set. Seemed like a what shall I do now decision. Jalek.
There's good passage here by the Kiwi side to be able to hold them out, put them under a bit of pressure that they end up giving the ball to someone to kick who perhaps least expected to get the ball.
A very abrupt style of running of Steve Kearney's. Always crosses the advantage line. Wiki. Onitalo. Willie Talau. Stepping fine. Offloading beautifully. The Kiwis need a quick play the ball. Plenty of numbers right. They should sing it in. Here they go. The little chip kick. The dive. The four-pointer.
Nigel Wagner. Why wait for Brian Jalek to break Hugh McGann's record of 1983? Let me have a go and I'll do it in half a game of football. He's on the way. 3 tries. Good anticipation. I thought perhaps Henry Paul had taken the wrong play by putting it forward. They had the numbers on the right flank, but it all started with a great run here by Willie Talau, taking it up right up the centre, and that's where Tonga has perhaps been most exposed tonight, the centre of the football field.
Yeah, how's the jiggy jig from Willie Talau? Something, you know, just extra special. And, you know, between him and Ruben Wiki, they put on 32.5 metres of play amongst themselves. That allowed Nigel Wagner, you know, doing the poacher's role. And, you know, isn't he having a good game too?
And the 99 Kiwis have just equalled the 92 record against Papua New Guinea for the biggest differential of 56 points.
Lovely little kick there from Henry Paul, proving once again that is there anything he can't do. Waits it nicely.
Did you think that was the right play then, Dwayne?
Well, I did, mate. I think the Kiwis, I've been impressed by the way they have decided to kick. You know, when it's been on, we've seen a number of them, you know, just push behind the Tongan line, force them to turn around. The wingers haven't been there, and they're the types of kicks that'll give you a chance of winning it back, as opposed to some of the Tongan kicks where they've just been flat-footed. The chasers haven't been there, and you know, they haven't been able to come up with the result they wanted.
3 tries in 8 minutes for Nigel Wagner. Vainakolo is tackled 25 metres out. And the Kiwis we always expected to win tonight. By how much was the moot point. But it's the fact that they've kept Tonga scoreless is the one thing that Frank will be rapt about.
Well, he's still got 10 minutes to go, and I think that's certainly what he's looking for. But Nigel will be disappointed with that last try. It actually took him 5 minutes. 5 minutes. The first 2 came in 3.
Oh, he would. You see, that's the accountant, and you're coming out again.
Pop pass, speculators, nothing to lose. Just try and send it backwards.
Yeah, for mine, I think, you know, you talk about Frank Endicott, and he'll be thinking the value of this workout. I'm sure, yeah, of course, he wanted a tougher game, as we watched Stephen Kearney with that one-arm offload back into the inside support, not able to pick that one up cleanly. But, you know, although it has been somewhat of it has been a one-way affair for this Kiwi side, I'm sure Frank's been able to have an assessment of some of the players that he was able to give a run tonight, put in the starting lineup.
Any stand out for you, Dwayne?
Oh, I think you know, Jason Lowry, when he's been on, he's been great as well. He's certainly hasn't lost any enthusiasm from his game-breaking performance last week. But I've also been impressed with Nathan Kalis. I think he's something a real star of the future.
What about out of the acting half, Richard Swain?
Oh, Richard Swain, always a tough decision if you're going to carry a specialist hooker and then have him sit on the bench. But he is a talented player and showing that he offers something a bit more than just being able to pass and tackle. And of course, you can't go past Brian Jellick.
So now Tonga once again get within the zone, but can they pack the punch as Vaikuna is wrapped up 10 to the left-hand side of the posts. Strong running once again.
He's a legend in the UK, says Hansen. He has a huge following. It all started with Lee. Then he ended up in Wigan for a little while, I think, and now Widnes. He's an outstanding footballer.
Far side of the field, and it's out now to Phil Howlett. He's wrapped up about 12 metres out from the line. Tonga certainly not set for a major attack. Looks like they're ready to scramble. This is a strong run. But a few run-ons with Sydney City this year did Nelson Lomi, and for a young prop of 20 years of age, you'd have to think that a bright future looms. It looked like it might have been an opportunity, but in the end it was well wrapped up by Nigel Vangana, slow to his feet. Dummy from Kearney. He'll stand and offload. He wants to. He saw man. Centre field.
Oh, don't you want him to get there? Hugh McGann's probably sitting in his lounge right now saying, "Go, son, go!"
Might be sitting there in his lounge going, "Come back, son, come back."
You owe me.
Swain. Paul. Wheels. Kidwell. Strength. Power. Wheels. The black and whites are going in again.
Couldn't think of a more deserving player to score that try. He's backed up all night. His support play's been outstanding. He's been an ideal conduit between his backs and forwards, providing good service out of the acting half. And again, a good example of good forward play, Pulley Tour breaking it up the middle, and Richard Swain in support.
Yeah, good work, Henry Paul, doing what a good 5'8" should do, and that's attract defenders to him. That takes the heat off the runners. And Richard Swain, you're right, he's had a good game tonight, and well deserved. And he wears the Kiwi jersey with pride. When he was first selected, somewhat shocked, but he's just really taken all the opportunities his way. Kevin Pulatua strong also, and just the score just keeps ticking over.
Henry Paul, he's had a pretty fine night with his boot, as it turns out. Well, there's an interesting stat for you. It took 70 minutes for a forward to score. That's the first try by a forward in 11 tries.
He started it in the acting half, found Paul. Some good lead work there by Kidwell, and he's been strong this evening as well. And Pulley Tour, just a big football side. Yeah, when you refer to the fact that they're a monster outfit, from number 8 all the way through to number 1, they're big and they're fast, and they enjoy and celebrate each other's success.
Richard Swain. He might talk funny, but he's one of us. So Tonga, can they strike back? You'd have to be a brave man to predict the try from the Tongans. They've certainly tried all night, but the Kiwis didn't want to entertain that. Just looking at that run from Kidwell, Dwayne, and I just wonder how the Aussies feel about 100 kg plus centres.
Well, it has been a trend over the last couple of years. The size of the centres hasn't diminished at all, and we've seen the likes of centres, original centres like Jared McCracken and co end up in the forward. So just all across the paddock, they're just monsters.
And an interesting battle as we look a little bit later on, 10:30 live on Sky Sport. Great Britain and Australia, again another big one in store, Dwayne.
Oh, it is, and it'll be interesting to see how this Australian side bounces back from their performance over the Kiwis. And the Great Britain side, you know, traditionally they don't tour that well. They're not great starters, but you know, I think that Great Britain side they've picked, they're very good on paper, a lot of experience, and also some young blokes who are in tremendous form.
Well, he's certainly
looking forward to that.
Coach Goodway's certainly gone for a lot of settle combinations, picking, I think, the majority of the side out of both Leeds and Wigan. But Fittler going back into lock forward to make room for Johns.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. I think Fittler, you know, whatever he does, he can play any position. He just needs to make sure he doesn't wait until the half-time to get involved. He's too good a player to just sit out there.
On the last tackle as Henry Paul sizes up the options, drills it downtown, and well taken in the end by Paul Kaloi. As Ropo mentioned, cut his teeth with the Canterbury Cardinals some time back in the Lion Red Cup, and has since gone on to travel the world playing rugby league. Not really his night tonight. 62 points to 0 with 5 minutes to go.
Still no shortage of trying there by the Tongan side. They've still got it in them. They want that 4 points and maybe 6.
Lomi taken by Kiwis. Here's the collision, a Kiwis collision.
And you also got to recognise the effort by the Kiwi side is still there, willing, wanting to work. Jason Lowry leading that charge on that occasion.
Wide ball from Filiai. Howlett turns it back on the inside for the Chief.
Give him 10.
And against him, inexperience.
Here we go, guys.
Should not have been caught with that ball on the last tackle.
Here's how it is.
Cardinal errors.
Make it, guys. Good
Kearney, halfway. Swain, the rock.
And these are young sung heroes in these sort of games. When you get such a big scoreline, you tend to overlook the work that's going on by the likes of Hermanson, Lowry, Joe Vagano when he's on. Big effort.
Henry Paul. He's like a magician. There's Tillo. Tries to push off his opposite, Greg Wolfgram. Last tackle on the Kiwis. Henry Paul. Sideways. Chases. Jumpers. The wing three quarter does well. And that's Tavita Puleo.
And I visualised Brian Jalek leaping into the air there and grabbing that out of his grasp. And coming up with number 5.
Well, it's not an easy catch to take and able to stand his ground. And a great chase, and that again has typified the Kiwis with their kick and chase game.
They'll be disappointed, undoubtedly, the Tongan team. But for their coach, he'll go back and be able to have a good look at what they have to do to be competitive in the next World Cup. As the guys have mentioned, they have a number of international footballers that will join this team. As a hole opens, Lowry with try number 2. When I say number 2, I think it's the second of his career.
It was interesting watching the way he celebrated his try last week at Ericsson Stadium, having gone through the whole year NRL, being the only forward not to score a try. And then to read his comments that his own teammates look to make up moves to get him across the try line, while the Kiwis do it for him, and he does number 2. Well done, Jason.
Yeah, all on his own. And again, Richard Swain, something clever though, offers just to take the markers out, attract some defenders to him. Jason Lowry, the big buff head guy goes down.
And people should never underestimate the skill, I think, of Richard Swain there in picture, the ability to pass that ball, put it in the gap, put it on the outside of the player, and allow the runners, such as Jason Lowry, just to run that line and just collect.
There's the extras. Former Northcote Tiger. And one of the many Kiwis who went overseas to prove themselves. And Jason Lowry playing top football, and he will again press his claims for inclusion next week against Great Britain.
Yeah, you've got to be wrapped with Jason Lowry. I mean, he has had a tough time with injuries, you know, over the last couple of seasons, and you know, to be able to bounce back from each of those injuries just says a lot for his character.
Not 10 metres penalty.
Got to have a go.
Well, it's a somewhat embarrassing scoreline at 68 points to 0. But there's something in it for Frank to work on. They were a little erratic in the first half, the Kiwis. As that ball's turned over into the hands of Jalek. Jalek cut down, 5 short.
Oh no, and we're all wishing for him to get over there as well, Frankie Endicott included.
Still alive, cut out over the top. Talau, Vainakolo. Leslie Vainakolo.
I think he was in two minds then, whether he was going himself or whether he was looking to pass inside to Nigel Wagner.
Nice offload from Kearney.
Finder.
Back to Swain. Pull it to her. On the inside. I tell you what, they want the chalk. They want to eat the chalk. Out the back door, the ball is still there. Andy Cook says play on. Still, the Kiwis a chance. Up the middle, pull it to her.
He came out the back door, he looked around, he threw a few off his shoulders, didn't know what was happening. Then he looked straight ahead and he knew where he was going. He was going to do this on his own. He showed great strength, good speed. You talk about athleticism, and I think Tony Puletua is one of those players who just sums it all up. He's a talent. Get away, he says. Up the middle. Those in Union, they call it a fat man's track.
The biggest winning margin ever for the Kiwis. And Tony Puletua. Frankie could be good for a loan.
And above all, the most pleasing aspect, Tonga 0. Big effort.
You've got to wonder if it achieved the goals that it set out to do. And Henry Paul celebrates with a successful conversion and a very comprehensive performance by the New Zealand Kiwis to absolutely demolish a plucky Tonga team by 74 points to 0 here at Carlaw Park.
And take nothing away, you put it in perspective. The fact that Tonga was kept to 0, I think is a huge effort, and well done, New Zealand. And as you say,
well, there you have it, 74 points to 0, a huge win to the Kiwis, just the preparation that they need for next week's game against Great Britain. They run out winners here at Carlaw Park, and a commanding performance.